Joining us now is Congressman Adam Schiff, top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, it's really nice to have you back with us again tonight, particularly this evening. Really thankful for you to be here.
Well, it's good to be with you.
If a person is subpoenaed to testify to a grand jury on a criminal or a counterintelligence matter, and then they are subpoenaed to testify to Congress on the same matter, do those things potentially conflict? And if so, does the criminal or counterintelligence matter take precedence over Congress's subpoena?
They don't necessarily conflict, and one doesn't necessarily take precedence over the other. I can't tell you anything about the timing of the special counsel's subpoena or whether it was a reaction to our inviting Mr. Bannon to appear before our committee. But there's nothing that would preclude him from testifying completely before our committee and also fully cooperating with a special counsel. What makes this so bewildering, and you pointed out many of these features, is that the position the White House has taken with Steve Bannon was directly contradicted by the other executive branch witness that we had testify today. And that is that witness, a current member of the administration, answered all of our questions during the campaign, questions during the transition, questions during his tenure in the administration. So what Sarah Huckabee Sanders said yesterday, not surprisingly, completely wrong. They didn't insist on some long discourse with the committee about the parameters in which executive witnesses would be allowed to testify. He answered all of our questions. They are treating Steve Bannon very differently for reasons we don't understand. It may be they're afraid of what he has to say. It may be that they don't know what he has to say. It may be that they've just thrown him under the bus and they have their own reasons for this. But there's no denying the incredible contradiction between what they said to Steve Bannon, what they have said publicly, and the treatment of the witness today.
There is something strange and interesting going on about Steve Bannon. He's being treated differently by the special counsel's office compared to other administration and campaign officials. He's being treated differently by the Republican leadership of your committee than they have treated other senior campaign and administration officials, and he is being treated differently by the White House in terms of White House intervention in his potential testimony. Do you believe, at least in the part of the way the White House is dealing with him, do you believe that it is because they're scared about what he is going to testify about? Is there something about the scope of the questioning, the kinds of topics he could conceivably be asked about, that there's reason for them to be more nervous about compared to the other people who have testified without any White House interference at all?
That is certainly, I think, a very plausible explanation. As you pointed out earlier, many of these other witnesses, they have direct access to. They currently work in the administration or they're members of the president's family. There's no question about what they're going to say. With Steve Bannon, there is always a profound question about what he is going to say. And that book, Fire and Fury, couldn't be better proof of that. So they are treating him differently. But you're also absolutely right. The committee is treating him differently. The other witness that we had today, as you point out, Corey Lewandowski, yesterday on Fox News and says, I'm going to answer every question of the committee. But then what happens between yesterday and today? Well, we have Steve Bannon's testimony, and Steve Bannon says, I won't answer any questions after I left the campaign. What does Corey Lewandowski decide to do today, in contrast to what he said he was going to do yesterday? He decides, I'm not going to answer any questions after I left the campaign. Now, he can't claim any executive privilege or any potential privilege, so he just says, I'm not prepared to do it. And what does the majority say? That's perfectly fine with us. Come back when it's convenient to you. That is no way to run an investigation. Directly contradicts what happened the day before. And when we asked Mr. Lewandowski, did you speak with the president in the last 24 hours about your proposed testimony, he would not answer the question. So there is a lot more we're going to need to know. He says he's willing to come back, but the committee wasn't willing to insist on answers today. And we'll have to hope that they're as good as their commitment to bring him back in the near future.
Congressman, one last point I just want to clear up with you briefly. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of reporting today that the White House is asserting executive privilege in order to block testimony from Bannon. It's my understanding that the White House is not formally doing that. The White House Chief of Staff, John Kelly, today on Fox News told Bret Baier they are not doing that. There's reporting on this that suggests it's happening. Is it happening? Are they asserting executive privilege on behalf of the president?
This is, I think, the exact kind of dodge which they have been making all along, which is they send General Kelly out today to say, we haven't invoked executive privilege. technically that's true. What they have done, which is more problematic, is telling witnesses don't answer the questions,
right,
but also don't tell the committee that we've invoked executive privilege. We don't want to look like we're hiding something by invoking privilege, but we don't want you to answer the questions, so don't answer them.
This is weirder and weirder.
Can I mention to Rachel, because this is an important point that you started out with, which is if we allow this, it will not only obviously impair our ability to get to the truth, it will impair the ability of any Congress in the future to hold any administration accountable if we will simply take no for an answer when it's convenient to the White House.
Congressman Adam Schiff, the top Democrat on the Intelligence Committee, helping us sort some of this stuff out. Thank you for your clarity, sir. Thank you for being here.